Welcome to Kathryn Raaker's World. Innovation, culture, adventure, fashion and health, artists, destinations, traditions. This is Kathryn Raaker's World.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Kathryn Raaker's World and Let's Just Talk, our syndicated radio show and television show. And our guest today is Dr. Jennifer Wademan, a VSP Network doctor. And you know that 80% of a child's learning is visual, with children spending most of the school day reading and looking at a board and using laptops and tablets. Yet 1 in 4 school-aged children struggle with reading and learning because of an undiagnosed vision problems. While many K through 12 schools offer vision screenings for students, those screenings do not replace a comprehensive eye exam performed by an eye doctor. Joining us with more, we welcome VSP Network Doctor and Optometrist and Mom, Dr. Jennifer Wademan. I am so tickled to have you on because I remember as a child doctor that my mother, we did have that thing at school, but she said, you know, I think you really have problems. We're going to send you to an eye doctor, which we did. As a young child.
Kudos to your mom. Kudos to your mom for catching that and placing a priority on your vision.
Yeah, it was so she was a teacher too, so it made it easier for her to understand that because I was squinting all the time. So, Doctor,
yes.
Welcome to our show. And why is it important for kids to get their eye exam before school starts? And what happens at the eye exam?
Great question. So, how our children process visual information is really quite complicated, and that comes into play in the classroom. So if a child's not seeing clearly or their eyes are not working together equally, we're going to see an impact, on their overall school performance. Also, their confidence levels could be impacted and overall well-being. And so a comprehensive eye exam is where we can check for their vision, check for how they're seeing or what they're not seeing, check for overall prescription. If they're nearsighted, farsighted, they have astigmatism, look at overall eye health. So it's this detailed examination, not only of vision, but overall eye health.
And that's so important because if you have to do this like that all the time at school and you're like not sitting in the front row, it can be really hard.
Yeah.
So what are the warning signs that a child might need glasses that parents might not know about?
The interesting fact is sometimes kids don't know either. Sometimes what they're seeing is what they're seeing. They don't know they should be seeing any better. So as a parent, that makes it really difficult. And as you mentioned earlier, squinting can definitely be a sign that a child needs correction. Other signs to watch out for is if your child's avoiding certain activities like reading. Perhaps they're skipping letters on or words on a page. Maybe it's unusual kind of tiredness when they are doing near tasks like reading or screen time. Sometimes a child will excessively rub their eyes, and that can indicate an underlying eye issue. I tell patients in the exam room, parents specifically, that, look at your child. Are you noticing that they're turning their head or tilting their head while looking at something? Because that actually can be an indication too that there's a vision issue.
Wow, and I think that's so important. I remember the first time I went to see the doctor and I got those really cool glasses, and they did have cool glasses back then. And it was actually not bad at all. And I was able to do things much more than I could before. So kids are on so many digital devices, even at school. Does that affect their vision? And is there any way to help that?
Yeah, and you touched on it again there. School, we're seeing an increased use of tablets and in computers and at home. And as a parent, I get this. I see this with my own kids. So the concern on a larger scale with device use is specifically the amount of near kind of visual demands on our kids. So which a screen is a culprit. And so kids are spending so much more time using their near vision. And we are concerned that, and we are seeing kids developing, higher degrees of nearsightedness or myopia at younger ages. And this presents a problem as they get older and increases their risk for certain eye conditions and eye problems.
Mhm.
So that is probably on a larger scale, a concern overall. On a smaller scale, we're seeing kids develop dry eyes, which is used to be fairly uncommon, but when you're staring at a screen for a prolonged period of time, our blink rate actually decreases. So this can cause irritation, redness, kind of a gritty, sandy sensation in the eyes. Headaches and eye fatigue and eye strain can also come along with screen time. So that's why we are talking so much about taking breaks, utilizing kind of outdoor activities, staying active, because we know we're seeing a lot of, we're using, our kids are using a lot of screens in the classroom. And so outside of school, we want them to, take a break, essentially,
Yeah.
to put it simple.
Right, right. The other thing is that you'll notice that kids, when they're in a restaurant or wherever they are, they're like this all the time. So what we did with my
Yeah.
grandchildren, every time we were with them, and their parents did too, put the phone away. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Okay. Great that you want to
Which
visit
is
with your friends and do this all the time, but guess what? We're here to see you. So, and
Yes,
I
which is
know
good in so many ways.
that's right. And I went as a child with I had dry eye and they finally figured it out. And I'll
Mm,
tell you what, I still have dry. I have to use drops all the time. So and as you get
mm.
older, like you said, it becomes even harder to deal with. So let me ask you this question. What are some of the best frames for children in terms of durability, comfort, and style?
There are so many options out there. And my best advice to parents is find a frame that your child's excited about, that they like, that they're going to wear, because ultimately that's the goal. We want them to wear the glasses to correct for vision, to be successful at school and outside of school. But there are some options, colorful, bold patterns are available in kid-friendly frames. For the child who maybe goes from school to a sporting activity, there are definitely brands. Nike is a great brand, and it is more suitable and for kind of those activities. As parents, I think we look at durability. We don't want to be replacing a frame every so many months, and there are options there with materials that kind of hold up a little bit more, so that bend and flex, that are more suitable for our kids who may be a little rough on things.
So can you tell me before we leave today, what happens at an exam exactly? So children won't be, sometimes kids get weird when you say, we're going to go see a doctor, and they go, what do you mean?
Oh yeah.
What happens? What happens?
100%. And I'd say overall we try to make the eye exam fun and a non-threatening place. Exams for kids are obviously going to be very different than exams for adults. We can essentially start seeing kids as early as 6 months of age. And so that exam looks very different because we're not really relying upon the child's response. We're kind of doing an objective measure of everything. But as a child gets older, we have, if they know their ABCs, great. If they don't, we've got pictures, we've got cartoons. So I'm looking at their vision, what they're seeing, what they're not. I'm checking for if they have any type of prescription, not only nearsightedness or myopia, but also astigmatism or farsightedness, which can also occur in kids. I also look at overall eye health, looking at all the structures in and around the eyes to make sure everything looks healthy. Other tests we do look at color vision. Depth perception is an important one. And also we're taking kind of note of how the eyes are working and teaming together. So as you can see, a lot of detail and a lot of information we
Right.
gain from a comprehensive eye exam.
And a lot has changed since I had my first classes. And I think it's fun to go out. I think it would be fun to go to see an eye doctor today with a child, because you do have a lot of options, and that makes it really nice.
Yeah.
And here's
And
another.
actually,
Yeah, go ahead. And
oh,
actually,
and actually, you just reminded me, it's, for a parent or a grandparent whose their grandchild or child hasn't had an eye exam, I recommend bring your grandchild or your child into the exam with you. They can kind of observe and watch and kind of get a better understanding like, hey, this isn't so bad.
I love it. I love it. And the other thing is, look at the Olympics, because guess what? One of the
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I just wondered if he was farsighted or near. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, but once he got on the and started doing it, I couldn't believe him, and he won gold, which was
Yeah.
really.
Oh, it's incredible.
So anyhow, well, thank you so much for joining us. Where can we go to get more information on this?
Definitely a good online place to start would be VSP.com/eye doctor. And from there, patients can find a local eye doctor and to help them navigate back to school eye exam.
Well, thank you so much for your mission and what you're doing. And I recommend seeing your eye doctor, especially if you're in school. Really important, right?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Thank you.
100%.
And don't forget.